My name is Pat Cantwell. I was born in St. Teresa's nursing home in Salt Hill, and I grew up in a place called Rally Row, and that's where I come from. It's the middle of Galway, it's behind the Jesuit church.
What was, can you tell us, brothers, sisters, what family dynamic, what it was like as a young fella in the house?
It was good, but I had 2 sisters and 2 brothers. So there was 5 of us, and it was a rather small house. But, you know, we had a good family life. My dad used to be away a lot. He was a sea captain, and so our mother reared us, really, you know. And but it was a good life. It was good, simple and good. I went on the boat with him several times since I was 7 years old. And I remember one particular thing. I was dying with a toothache, and we were out in the middle of the sea, and my dad called me up to the bridge, and he had the pliers, a kettle of hot water, and whiskey. Gave me a little nip of whiskey, and he took my tooth out. And I'm still thanking him to this day because it was sore. So, you know, he was a great character, and he was the captain of the Iron Ferry in the end, going out to the Iron Islands, etc. And he had a great cure for seasickness, strawberry jam. It tastes the same coming up as going down.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
How was school for you? What was it like back then? I'm sure
it was very good. It was tough enough now, you know what I mean? At the school behind us, that was the national school I went to. And then I went to the Bish, which is over the far side. So I'm now between 2 schools at the moment. And I was, how would I say, I wasn't very academic. I wasn't bad either, but I was in the television business. I used to sell televisions, and it was a very successful business. And I worked for a company called O'Connor's, and had the highest sales in Ireland, and people used to love coming into us and discussing all the new electronics and all that. I used to go out to Las Vegas for the trade shows and to Germany, and you know, it was a really progressive company. And then I took up a bit of aviation. When I was 20, I got my pilot's license, and I loved that, and done a bit of tipping around, etc. You know.
So, loops, you said.
Yeah, I love airplanes, and you know.
Tell us a bit about the loops. I mean, what was it like?
Well, I done a little bit of aerobatics, and you know, loop-the-loops and barrel rolls, etc. like that, and you know, I just have no fear whatsoever of heights, none. And that's, you know, and I've travelled all over the world, and I'm happy with life. You know, that's it.
How has Galway changed from when you were a young fella to now? Has there been much change? What is the change?
Oh, absolutely. Well, it was a simpler life, and you could drive up and down the city, and people at the markets that have live animals under their arms and all that kind of stuff. And nowadays, there's so many people, and you'd know an awful lot to see back years ago. But nowadays, you know, it's hard to see. You don't see that many. Do you know what I mean? As people often remark to me, I haven't seen a Galwegian since I walked into town. You know, it's all strangers, which is nothing wrong with it, but you know, it's etc. Yeah, I have a page on Facebook called Galway Faces and Places, and I have 27,000 followers. And the big problem is a lot of people think they know me. And how are you, Pat, and how's it going? And I'm looking at them, who is this? Do you know what I mean? And that's just the only difficult thing about it. But it's a very popular page, and it keeps my head going. I've a big, deep interest in photography as well, so.
That's where I was going to ask you next. Yeah, your passions, hobbies.
So I spend a lot of my time going around, taking places and faces, and I love the moon, and you know, portraits, people's, you know, faces, and it's great to record all the older people you know, and it'll go on down the line, and people just, even in America, they kind of say, "Oh my God, you're linking me to home," and you know, it's just a nice thing to do, you know.
Can you remember the last time that you were truly happy, and when that was?
My wife, she was a wonderful woman, and unfortunately she died a year ago, and I miss her a lot. It's a lonely life now, and we just got on very, very well, and she was a great mother, and so on, and that's when I was the last time I was happy. Yes, sir.
Do you remember your proudest moment in life? You can take your time.
I suppose my proudest moment was when I got my pilot's license, and very peculiar. My dad was the old school. So when he heard I got my license, he went, And you know, he'd be going out to Ireland in the boat, and I used to be dive bombing him. And he never once said to me, "Be careful or mind yourself." And if it was my sons, I'd be, "What in the hell are you doing dive bombing me?" But he was just the old school hard guy, you know what I mean? But he was a lovely man. Lovely stuff.
Do you have any regrets in life?
Being honest, no. I'm quite happy. There's a lot of there's 3 stages to a man's life: young and full of beans, middle-aged and comfortable, and you're looking well.
Lovely, Pat. Okay, great. And the last one now. This is the last one, I promise.
Sure.
If you could give young Pat one piece of advice, what would it be?
Be honest. That is my advice. Be honest, and you know, look at yourself and be critical of yourself, etc. And just be honest with people, and that's it.